Hey guys, this is Cam315 back at it with another video for you guys, and I am back with the final anime Bleach arc review for you guys as we end off this amazing I guess blind journey of me going through the anime, each of the anime arcs, even the filler ones, of Bleach as we get to the last anime arc of the series in the anime before the new anime Thousand Year Blood War arc comes out. And that is this arc has two different names. It's the Lost Substitute Shinigami arc or the Fullbringer arc. I personally call it the Fullbringer arc because I feel like it's a lot better to say than the other one. But that's the whole thing. And man, was this arc, even though it was a fairly short arc, was this arc just very emotional, intense, and it did get to some dark moments, I ain't gonna lie. And it's absolutely crazy. It's just absolutely crazy with where I what I saw, and I just can't wait for when the new anime comes. I can't wait to see where the story goes. Um so yeah. This arc's the premise of this arc pretty much we get a time skip. About over a year, 17 months has passed. And Ichigo has no more Soul Reaper powers, but Uryu, Chad, and Orihime, they're pretty much still have their soul powers, and they pretty much do what the Ichigo's whole idea back when he was a Shinigami, he was doing a Soul Reaper, he was doing so pretty much they taken out the hollows, and Ichigo, he's kind of just living a chill, mellow, regular human life. And the one thing about this arc that, until I started watching other people's reviews and then I started to think about it some more, this arc really dove into the psyche and the mind of our boy Ichigo with the standpoint of ultimately we find out he feels. Now, on the outside, he looks like he could care less about being a Soul Reaper. He looks like he's content with his life. He looks like he's fine with it. And that's what even he said, leading up to him potentially losing his Soul Reaper powers. But we know, especially when you get that very emotional scene after it's revealed that Kujo was the main villain. He took pretty much what was the last thing left of his Soul Reaper powers away from him. And you see him break down. You see that deep down, Ichigo, it eats at Ichigo's soul away. The fact that he can't be able to do the things he once did because it was the thing he always wanted to do. He wanted, and it's what from the start of the series he's been accustomed to doing, being a Soul Reaper. And it's kind of the thing of when you get something taken away from you, and it couldn't happen at the wrong time, like it eats at your gears of saying of where it's like, damn, I really want to freaking go back and play that again. I really want to do this again. It really legitimately eats away at your core, and that's kind of the thing about this arc. This is the thing that this arc really doesn't have a focus on like the big bads as much as other arcs do. This arc really ultimately focuses on Ichigo's mindset, his psyche after losing his Soul powers. So yeah. And we even though he doesn't look like he cares, you can see it on the face that he wishes he could go do the things like fight hollows again. So he can help his friends and more than and obviously of course keep them safe, protect them, because that's been his whole character at this point, having the power to protect his family and his friends who he cares deeply about. And the fact that he doesn't have that access to his power anymore, it eats away at his core. So that's the one thing I loved about this arc, how it focused on his psyche, the fact that this was a man at his lowest point, and hell shit, even when it's revealed and then Ginjao takes his powers away, that's really ultimately a guy at his lowest point. That's when we haven't seen Ichigo at his lowest point at all. But the one thing that is good is he seems a lot more mature than he was those 17 months ago. And it's just crazy. Now, all the characters pretty much have new looks, new designs. so pretty much they have some sort of feature that makes them look different. And we even see that with the Soul Reaper characters, that some of them actually legitimately look different. Karin and Yuzu, they aged over years, so they look fairly different. Um, which they're now in high school now. They look fairly different now. They don't go to the same high school as Ichigo does. They actually go to a different high school. Don't know why they wouldn't go to the same high school unless they actually do. It's just they're wearing different clothes. I don't know. But like I said, we see all the other characters, having looking different. Ichigo fairly looks the same. He looks pretty much the same. Uryu, his hair looks a little bit, cut, a bit more Chad. It's something like the Sanji situation, he has a little bit of a goatee. Orihime, holy shit, they gave Orihime a glow up. Her hair is the same, but it's a little bit different. But what I mean by glow up, oh my god, she became your typical anime character, girl character to where, especially shonen girl, to where, let's just say, she is big. I'm gonna say that. Yeah, let's just say her features are a little bit more defined, if you might say so myself. And I know she wears an outfit. I'm guessing later in the story that is very, very, very fan servicey slash very revealing, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. So maybe she took tips from Rengiku on how to improve her chest size, because we know Rengiku has big, what. I guess Orihime has been taking some Rengiku lessons. She still is a funny, clueless girl herself, but at the same time, I like how serious and how much stronger she is than when she was with the than back when she was like. I love when she finally shows off her powers in the training to help Ichigo out. She shows, oh yeah, you'd think I was sitting on my ass, just doing nothing, being a little cute girl that everybody hits on. No, I actually train myself to get stronger, so I can help protect my friends as well as protect Ichigo. And that's the thing we see. Everybody, Ichigo's friends are pretty much stronger. We also find out that Chad and Orihime, they have been training, not only to again do what Ichigo was doing as a way, but they were also doing it in an event. So when Ichigo gets his Soul Reaper powers back at some point in time, they will be able to stand aside him or stand right beside him and help him out in situations. Because that was the one thing, and I'll say this about Orihime. That was the one thing. Like, she actually, like, I knew she wasn't typically strong, but at least, she was given a purpose to where she could defend herself. And then you had the Arankar stuff happen and this whole thing. And then she kind of felt like a damsel in distress character. And pretty much her motivations came across in her feelings and her words. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I loved her arc through that stuff. I just was like, I hope they really do make her a little bit stronger. So then guess what? We don't have her being a damsel in distress character to where, guess what? Ichigo has to go save her every single time. But I like the fact that this time, in a way, it was Orihime in some cases in this arc. She was the one that was trying to save Ichigo. So yeah. Chad, he's definitely a lot stronger, and especially we find out he's been working alongside the Fullbringers to increase his strength. So that was the one thing that was really freaking good. Like I said, other characters, they look different. Tatsuki, she actually has long hair now. Don't know if I prefer the first look, her first design. I think I like her first design more than this design, but it looks fine. Ichigo actually has a job now. His boss is absolutely hot too. So yeah, but this arc pretty much starts off with this one guy stealing his bag. Ichigo chases him and stops the guy. Pretty much we find out that even though he lost his Soul Reaper powers, he still has a physical capabilities he had back when he was a Soul Reaper. But again, he still can't freaking take like freaking 12,000 freaking sword slices because he's still human, but his strength is obviously his strength was obviously still there, and everything. But we find out that pretty much the guy he ended up his the bag who he ended up grabbing is this guy named Kugo Ginjo. Yeah, Ginjo. And when I saw this character, I was like, interesting. He came across as a little bit of a sus character to me, to be honest. And I was like, I don't know what this guy's story is. But my God, this guy, it's very interesting to see what this guy's approach is doing and what he's going to do. And again, I was just like, all right, I don't know. He pretty much was egging Ichigo on to help him out in this whole situation. Um, and I was just like, interesting, dude. I don't know what this guy is up to. And it was weird how this guy was going on. It's funny because he was like he had an intrigue in Ichigo, and he was calling him like a substitute Soul Reaper, and especially when he went back to his went back to the Fullbringers. It's like this guy is really freaking sus. This guy is sus AF. So yeah, now the thing is, things happen to where one day, Uryu is, gonna go over because we see how Orihime goes over to Ichigo's place, but Uryu was having the same idea in mind, but then he pretty much he pretty much senses a spirit energy, I guess you can say, and that's when we're introduced to one of the antagonists called Shukoro Tsukishima. And we have it to where he starts following him, but then all of a sudden he ends up mysteriously getting attacked, and he's pretty much, I guess you could say left for dead. I mean, he's almost on the brink of death. But his dad actually came and healed him. And it becomes this whole thing of, well, Ichigo sees this and he wants to do something to protect his friends, but we see that, well, guess what? It's hold on a quick second, guys. Yeah, yeah, it was it was interesting when he got attacked. I was like, okay, what's going on? What's going on? And we see how in this arc, Tsukishima pretty much takes down all of Ichigo's friends and eventually gets to his family, and I'll talk about that later. But it comes to Ichigo again. He has this card from Ginjao, who he meets up with later to say, hey, join our group. We can help you out with this situation that you're in, and we can help find a way for you to get your Soul Reaper powers back. But the thing is, Ichigo's like, I gotta think about this before I do it. But obviously, it comes to a point where a hollow ends up attacking Ichigo's sister Yuzu, and Ichigo really can't do anything about it. He can't even see the hollow, but it's all thanks to Ginjao, who helped him out and saved Yuzu. Pretty much, gave Ichigo the whole thing of understanding, like, hey, I can you can come in, make sure you take our offer and everything. And this pretty much convinces Ichigo to, like, I need to do something. I can't just not do anything. I have to sit down. I have to go pretty much get my powers back, my Shinigami powers back, my Soul powers back, so I can go back to do what I used to do to protect my friends and my family and the people I care and love about. Because he's just featuring this whole, he's featuring this whole standpoint, the fact that not only freaking Yuzu got attacked, Uryu got attacked, and I think this is the time when Tsukishima actually got to Orihime as well. And with everything that's going on in his psyche, he wants to protect the people he cares deeply about. And the whole thing also, too, is the fact that Ginjo already put this place in mind. You don't ultimately know what your father and Kisuke are honestly doing, do you? They never told you what's going on. And it creates that doubt in his head, like, what's going on? So he ends up calling Ginjo and says, oh, it's like, I want to get my Soul Reaper powers back. Help me do this. And that's when he starts his training. Now, the thing we find out that Ginjao and his crew they're pretty much Fullbringers. They are humans, but they're called Fullbringers, and they have these, innate abilities that are different than pretty much some things we've seen before. Um, so that's it's really freaking crazy to see that we get another, I guess you can say, another um group and names of this race, and it's very interesting to say the least. Now I'm actually trying to find all the actually I'm gonna try to find all the old Fullbringer members right now. Now I know Ginjo is one of them. Rirakura is another one of them. Sugashima is another character, and that's the thing. The characters, the Fullbringer characters, they don't really like what Tsukishima's about. And we even find more about Tsukishima, which I'll explain about in a bit. But like I said, the Fullbringer characters are Rirakura, Tsukishima, Giriko, again Ginjao, Yukio, Jackie, and then Moe. And pretty much these characters have their own personalities, their own traits. Yukio, Yukio, he pretty much is kind of a guy playing like a video game. It looked like he was playing like a PSP from back in the day. I'm like, shit, that's a while. Rirakura, I enjoyed her personality because she was kind of like a tsundere type of character, who ended up falling for Ichigo because to her, Ichigo looked very cute and adorable to her, which was absolutely hilarious. And the other characters, they were fine for the most part. Jackie was actually kind of a complex character, to be honest. I honestly didn't think highly of her, but I actually grew to actually like her character of where they were taking it. Of the whole standpoint of, just kind of protecting people. And obviously Ginjo, he's kind of a guy that we even later find out in the training with Ichigo. Ichigo got vibes of Gen Ichimaru off him because he couldn't tell, okay, what's his ideal, but he knew that was Tsukishima. Tsukishima was trying to kill him. Speaking of Tsukishima, so he ended up actually attacking Orihime with trying to get with Moe, who was another Fullbringer who had a fairly decent character arc in this. And the thing is, it's a very tense scene, but it looks like, Orihime is gonna try to attack Tsukishima, but Tsukishima ends up impaling her, and then goes away. Now the thing is, Chad and Ichigo get there, but the thing that is very interesting is the fact that she understands that she got stabbed, but there's no blood. She's not hurt. She seems fine. But the thing is, when she was talking to Ichigo and everything, she said, "Oh yeah, my friend just came over to check on me," referencing Tsukishima as a friend. And she's like, "Wait, why did I say that? Why did I say Tsukishima's a friend of mine?" And she's wondering like, why the heck is this going on? And we find out Tsukishima's power is this ability, which is actually very damn near terrifying, especially like when we get to the end, the climax of this arc. His ability is called let me see what I had it real quick. I had it right here. Book of the End. So pretty much this ability is where he can stab somebody one time, and pretty much he can implement himself into people's past memories as if they were there. Like you see at the end of the arc when Orihime and Chad pretty much are protecting him, they take it as if Ichigo's the crazy one, and there's already been in, and Tsukishima's already been in their life from the damn near start back to the Soul Society helping Rukia. I'm like, okay, this isn't actually a terrifying ability because you can pretty much manipulate people against your enemy. And the enemy's friends could think that they're just going absolutely batshit crazy and there's something wrong with them. Like, it's an actually terrifying ability when you think about it, because this guy can actually infiltrate people's memories, put himself there as if he was always there, and people are going to deem him as an ally to them. And it's all sorts of messed up. And that's the thing is, that's the whole mission. Ichigo has to gain his Fullbringer powers, or has to pretty much have a Fullbringer power up. And Rirakura pretty much ends up training him at first to use his powers. And he has to go up against you know he has to go up against this guy called Mr. Pig or something, or Mr. Pork. Um but with pretty much within this timeline, um hold on a quick second, guys. Okay, quick update. I just found out some great news about the Angels. I gotta freaking do this video and finish this up. I'll try to do my best. Whatever. Ichigo's doing his training. And he ends up managing to bring out his full bring powers out. Now, it's not yet completed. It looks in the way of his Soul Reaper abilities, just different. It's just like he's covered in shadows. And this ends up after he comes out of it. He ends up fighting with Jackie, who we find out Jackie's ability is the fact that the more her feet get dirty, the stronger she gets, which it's actually kind of a wicked ability. It's like called Dirty Feet or something like that. But all of a sudden, the crazy things that happen is the fact that Tsukishima actually shows up, raids Ginjao's place, and that's when the fight starts on. He pretty much finds out, and this starts the fight with Tsukishima and Ichigo. And Ichigo, he's starting to fight because he finds out he was the guy that hurt Uryu and Orihime, and we know how much Ichigo, when it comes to Ichigo and his friends getting hurt, but especially when it comes to Orihime getting hurt. Don't tell me that man Ichigo does not love Orihime. But he goes on the attack. Now the thing is, Tsukishima's getting the upper hand on him. And even though Ichigo is much stronger, it's still the fact that, guess what? He can't take all of these shots, and he's just not ready yet. He's not in his completed Fullbringer outfit yet. And we even have it to where Ginjao fights him, and even Ginjao's having some trouble with him. And then guess what? Eventually it comes to the happens. Chad gets hit by Tsukishima, and he starts to feel the same things that Orihime is feeling. Now, in the meantime, Orihime is actually wondering, why do I feel like this? Uryu actually got cut by this guy. Let's go talk to him. And now Uryu said he doesn't feel any of the symptoms that Orihime's feeling. And even I was like, wait a second. That's very weird. It's very interesting. And I'll talk about that point in a moment. But then you get a whole thing where Ginjao and Ichigo, they're pretty much training together, to the point Orihime shows up to be kind of a healer to Ichigo. And the thing is, we have it to where Ginjao takes this approach of kind of doing villainous actions, being a very dark. He was messing him up. He was cutting him. He cut his freaking eyes where Ichigo can't see. He said he would hurt Chad and Orihime and kill them, and then kill Ichigo. And then that's when Ichigo finally realizes his Fullbringer abilities, and his Fullbringer powers look really cool. He looks like in the form of a skeleton, pretty much, and it looks dope. And that's pretty much when he's like, okay, now I can fight again and I can do this. But when he goes home, we find out Tsukishima is at his place, and he's already corrupted his friends and his two sisters. And when I tell you, this scene was absolutely horrifying. It was absolutely horrifying. They're like, Ichigo, what's wrong? What's wrong, Ichigo? I'm just like, what the hell? You have this man, Ichigo, legitimately losing his damn mind. Holy shit. I cannot believe that. I'm just like, dude, what the hell is actually freaking happening, dude? Oh my goodness. This is absolutely crazy. Holy shit. I'm just losing my mind. He then runs over to his bosses, which, let me say, his boss is not only hot, but his boss is absolutely funny. I love the way she acts. It's absolutely hilarious. And I do like the fact in this situation, his boss is actually caring about him. His boss isn't like the typical boss that might be an asshole to Ichigo, even though she comes across like that. She actually is caring. She's like, hey, listen, you're sweating profusely. You act like you've seen a ghost. You don't know what's going on. Hey, tell me what's going on. And Ichigo's wondering, should I tell her? She's not going to believe me. But maybe I have to tell her. And all of a sudden, Tsukishima comes up and corrupted his boss. And then he's just freaking out like crazy. In the meantime, Ginjao's at his place, his hideout, and they freaking corrupted his crew. And he's losing mind. Eventually, they find each other, and they realize they have to take the fight to Tsukishima. And they go to his mansion that he leads them there to. And that's when Ichigo starts fighting him in his Fullbringer, in his Fullbring mode. And he's getting the upper hand of Tsukishima, but the thing that changes it is that Chad and Orihime, they've already pretty much are under his control, and they're willing to help him, and they're calling Ichigo the crazy one, saying like, dude, he's helped us in all these. Why are you picking a fight with Mr. Tsukishima? And you have it to where like Orihime, in a way, Tsukishima's been just put in her memories as in a way like she's always been there for, like he's always been there for her, to the point damn near you could say she's in love with the guy. Chad, his memories are replaced from his not only Ichigo but even his freaking his grandfather, and it's replaced with Tsukishima. I'm just like, this guy's messing up with their freaking minds, and Ichigo is absolutely losing it, and he's fighting him. But at the same time, he has to fight against his own friends to do it. And the thing is crazy is, Ginjo kind of, before they even get to the mansion, Ginjo kind of puts this thing on for the fact like, maybe if we kill Tsukishima, the effects will wear off of them and they'll go back to normal. And you have it to where Ichigo, seems like he's content with killing Tsukishima. And I'm like, that's not Ichigo's care. That's not Ichigo. That's not what Ichigo would do. He wouldn't kill somebody. And I understand to save his friends and everything, but I don't think he would take this drastic approach to do that. And he's even saying like, I will kill Tsukishima to save my friends. And I'm just like, there's got to be something that's going on. Uryu ends up showing up, and Uryu is telling Ichigo, you need to move. And Ichigo's thinking like, wait a second. Don't tell me he got to you too, Uryu. But that's when you get the plot twist to where Uryu is pretty much saying, no, fool. I'm trying to take out the guy that freaking slashed me, and that's Ginjao. And you have it to where Ginjao shows this evil looking face, man. He shows this evil looking conniving face. He impels Ichigo and pretty much says he's been fooling Ichigo this entire time. And in the fight, he actually did get and ended up getting impaled by Tsukishima. And we find out, no, this was a plan of Ginjao the entire time, so he could get Ichigo to pretty much gain this power and then lose it all over again. And we find out, it was Ginjao that attacked Uryu. One difference we can tell is, one, with Tsukishima, he doesn't leave any blood or anything around. But with the Uryu situation, he was like laying in a puddle of his own blood, my guy. He was laying in a puddle of his own blood. While, other characters, they were getting impaled, but they were saying like they didn't feel anything, which, again, it showed the difference. And we have it to where Ginjao takes his Fullbring power away from him. And we also find out some other interesting things. We actually find out that Ginjao was the very first substitute Soul Reaper. Crazy. That was absolutely insane with that revelation. I'm like, and they call it back to when Captain Ukitake gave Ichigo his combat pass. And it was implied that, guess what? And even Uryu brings up, is like, listen, dude, the way Ukitake was talking, he sounded like in a way like as if there was a substitute Soul Reaper already in place, already there. And you get this amazing scene to where you just have Ichigo who's lost his powers. Ginjao's pretty much just like, it's over, Ichigo. You have no more powers. You're weak and you won't be able to protect your friends no more. And he's walking away. He's like, I won't kill you. And I'll just, this would be the last I see of you. And you have it to where you get this a very emotional, powerful scene, man. This shit hit me. Like I said, this is an arc focused on the psyche of Ichigo. It isn't really focused on Ichigo trying to defeat Ginjao or Tsukishima. This is an arc focused on the psyche of Ichigo, of how he's internally feeling after the events of the Eisner, after realizing that his Soul Reaper powers are now gone. Like, maybe back then, when Kisuke told him, like, your Soul Reaper powers will be gone eventually. He didn't mind too much, and he thought it wouldn't hurt him too much. But deep down, we didn't see every single of these 17 months the time skip has passed since the Eisner, but you can definitely tell that this shit was eating at him. And, everything that happened, he felt helpless. He felt alone. He felt like he has nothing left. He's not strong. And he knows there's only so much he can do as a regular human compared to what he could do as a Soul Reaper. And when you and I watched the dub performance. I haven't heard the sub performance, but I heard the sub performance is just good. I watched the dub. So Johnny Young Bosch absolutely killed it. And him playing just screaming out in pain and agony and angst of just depression and sadness and all this, everything. He was just like, because I was watching this. I was just like, fuck, man. This dude was this guy Ichigo at his lowest point out of the entire 17 months after losing his powers. This was at his lowest. And you can feel every emotion Ichigo's feeling because to him, he failed. He didn't save his friends. He lost, and he can't do nothing about it. He can't save his family. He can't save his sisters, his friends. He can't save Orihime, Chad. This villain outsmarted him, fooled him. He had the powers within his hands again. He felt like he had that same feeling, and then it just got taken away from him right then and there. But he doesn't just strictly stay there and just is moaning, and that's what Ginjo thought. He thought he was just going to stay there and cry and just be at his lowest point. But Ichigo gets up and he's like, give me my powers back. And he says, I'm not going to stop till I get my powers back. And Ginjo's like, oh, please. What do you think you're going to do against me? I'm stronger. I can kill you in one shot. But then you hear familiar voices come, are what happens at first is you have it to where he gets impaled, Ichigo gets impaled. And I was just like, oh, shit, don't tell me they came from the back and just impaled him. But he turns around. He sees his dad and Kisuke. And Ichigo's just like, wait, what are you guys doing? And they're like, don't blame us. We didn't stab him. We weren't the one that stabbed you. Look behind you. You can tell who stabbed you. And as Ichigo looks back, slowly but surely, he sees the outline of Rukia showing back up. And kind of in a way, from the very first episode of Bleach, Rukia does the same thing in giving Ichigo his Soul Reaper powers. And it wasn't just Rukia that gave him back his powers, because Ginjo's like, please, you gave him his powers back. He's not going to gain his powers back with just you. And then that's when you hear another familiar voice in Renji. He's like, oh, please. It wasn't just her. It was us too. And then you see Renji, Ikaku, Byakuya, Kenpachi, Toshiro. Again, they all look different. They all have different designs. Toshiro looks a little bit more serious. Kenpachi, he's got longer hair. Ikaku looks like Ikaku. He's only involved. Byakuya looked like he cut his hair. Renji grew out his hair. Rukia even cut her hair a bit too. And we find, and it's told to Ichigo that pretty much all the Soul Reapers in the Soul Society put their power into this blade because it was a mission by Kisuke to say, hey, is it okay that we instill you guys' soul power, your soul powers into this to give Ichigo his Soul Reaper powers back? And if you watch my journey across these reviews, man, I have been saying, dude, the freaking Soul Society captains and all these Soul Reapers in the Soul Society, they're absolute dicks. They're absolute a-holes. They don't give a care about Ichigo. The moment that Ichigo does something for them, good God, they freaking turn on him. You've seen time and time again my complaints in the filler arcs when they would always be the first one to blame Ichigo for these situations. And I'm like, yes, they finally are helping him and acknowledging him and the fact that he pretty much gave up everything to save your asses against Aiz. And that's what head Captain Yamamoto pretty much says. He's like, he's done everything for us. He helped, if not for his valiant efforts against Aizen, the Soul Society wouldn't be here anymore. We wouldn't all be here anymore. We would all be dead. And I loved how not only all the other Soul Reapers put their soul power into it, even the head captain did it, which Toshiro pretty much told Ichigo, like, it's unheard of that he would have done this. In the past, he would have never done something because it breaks their code. But the fact that all these Soul Reapers were all in joint, willing to freaking connect, willing to go against the code, go against the tradition because they know, no, this guy's fucking helped us. He's changed us all for the better, and he's helped us in the past. We have to do something to repay him. So yeah, and I had a feeling that it was something that Kisuke was coming up with something to find a way to get his Soul Reaper powers back. Because it's like you're not just gonna say, oh, he's not gonna be a Soul Reaper no more and his power's gone. I knew Kisuke was gonna find a way to do it. And you have to where Ichigo gets his Soul Reaper powers back. He's in the same robe and everything, and it was just so great to see each of the captains and the lieutenant characters pretty much. And we also find out Rukia is now a lieutenant now. She has a lieutenant badge on her shoulder, which is cool. So, we see growth and development. We have all the characters pretty much fight the individual Fullbringers. And Ichigo has a fight with Ginjo, which pretty much because Ichigo's used his foot because Ginjo has Ichigo's Fullbring, pretty much Ginjo has all of the same similar abilities that Ichigo has, and when he actually like unleashes his version of Bankai, he looks like he's a freaking hollow, like in Ichigo's hollow form. Now the thing is, we didn't see Ichigo's hollow form; he just uses Bankai, and he ends up winning the fight. And again, all the other fights were fairly quick. Like freaking Kenpachi's fight was the quickest one because my god, dude, it was absolutely fast. He just cut the one dude down within a second. We also do see Yachiro. She has shorter hair now. She cut the little, I guess, ending parts of her hair. Absolutely insane. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely insane. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it, man. And I'm watching all this and everything. And this is crazy. Now, we found an interesting tidbit of the fact that, the combat pass Ichigo has had on him, it was kind of like a device to monitor his spirit energy and monitor what he was doing. And originally, the Soul Reaper's plan was to give Ichigo the substitute Soul Reaper combat pass so they could freaking find a way to get Ginjo to come out, reveal themselves. And originally, they were going to kill not only Ginjo, they were going to kill Ichigo. So they were going to be all sorts of messed up. And I freaking hated that. And the thing is, they were wondering, like, okay, what side would Ichigo side with? And Rukia, obviously knowing Ichigo, she knew. And we see early in the arc, through the Fullbringer training, there's like, we hear voices of Rukia and the other Soul Reapers talking, and Rukia saying Ichigo would never do that. He would never join the enemy. And that's what Rukia was doing because she was against this whole plan of, okay, yes, I'm fine with you guys using Ichigo to draw out Ginjo, but why should we kill Ichigo? He has helped us this entire time. And even I was like, bro, I think defeating Aizen for you guys is more than enough reason to say, guess what? He's a good guy. He's going to help you. But we kind of see how Ginjo was trying to maybe potentially take Ichigo down that path like he went down. Because we find out that pretty much Ginjo kind of got screwed over by the Soul Society, and he wanted to get revenge on them for doing that. And that was the whole plan. I was like, and the whole thing is Captain Ukitake, he was behind this entire plan. And he okayed it and everything. And Ichigo, he pretty much like, the past is behind us. Whatever, I could talk to him when I want to talk to him. And even after Ginjo is defeated, he wonders like, I wonder if I wonder would Ichigo be the same person he is if he was the first substitute Soul Reaper? Because this whole thing of the fact that they don't really acknowledge the substitute Soul Reapers as anything special, and Ginjo kind of made the point of mentioning like maybe if Ichigo was the first one. Maybe there could have been a bunch of other substitute Soul Reapers where guess what? The Soul Society wouldn't have to worry about them and be kind of spy on them in a way. But the fight ends with pretty much Ririka pretty much stopping this. She hid inside Rukia in their fight and stopped Tsukishima from saying, "Listen, it's done. It's over. Ginjao is saved now thanks to Ichigo. It's over." So, yeah, all the Fullbringers, they go away. They go all go their own individual ways. Ichigo returns to the Soul Society and pretty much asks on Head Captain Yamamoto. Now, all the characters are probably now all the Soul Society characters, all the captains, even Ukitake, they're pretty much wondering like, is he going to ask us like, why'd you guys freaking do all this shit? Why'd you guys spy on me like this? You guys don't trust me or something? And it was up to the point where all the captains pretty much they pretty much they're pretty much at this place where they would understand why Ichigo would feel the way he feels. Because I wouldn't blame him. Hell, if I was freaking Ichigo, I'd be like, why you guys don't trust me? I did everything you guys ever asked me to do, and you guys don't trust me. You guys were willing to try to kill me. And they all thought like, hey, he was gonna hand in his combat pass and be like, I'll still be a soul. You're like, I'm done being a Soul Reaper because yada yada yada. But no, he's like, listen, I don't really care about what you guys had in store for me and what you guys were going to do. I just want the body of Ginjao so I could replace him, or so I could lay him to rest because he's a human and he was a substitute Soul Reaper. Now they're playing it now. This other character now, all the captains and even Captain Yamano, they're playing off like this is like a fucking crime, pretty much. Like you can't freaking do this. But eventually, because of everything Ichigo's done for them, Head Captain Yamamoto is like, I grant you the ability to do that. That's fine and everything. And Ichigo pretty much says like, I'm going to continue to be a substitute Soul Reaper. So that's what I'm going to do. And then he heads back. He pretty much tells his goodbyes to Rukia, and Rukia, and he pretty much tells Rukia, listen, this may be goodbye, but I know I'm going to see you again, at some point down the road. So hey, catch you later. And he heads back, to the world. To the world of the living, and pretty much his friends greet him there by saying, "Hey, Ichigo, yada yada." I also do like the fact his other school friends like Tatsuki and that group, they still know that he is a Soul Reaper, and everything. They still know he's a Soul Reaper. I mind you, I did like the part where Orihime were in Chad. They were very visibly distraught. Remember, they're still under the control of Tsukishima, but I really like the fact that they were still very distraught over Ichigo when he was in the after he got his power taken when he was in the thing. And I loved our argument is like, I don't know why Ichigo was crying. Like, why was he crying like that? And then I loved it when she looked at Ichigo and she saw that he has the Soul Reaper powers back, and she was absolutely happy for him. I mean, even though he was under control, but regardless, this arc was actually fairly underrated. It was actually really damn good. I honestly enjoyed this arc. Just from the standpoint, this arc friggin' hits at you in the emotional, strength. And like I said, this arc may have not been the longest arc, and it definitely was not a long arc. It was like a very short arc, to be honest. But the one thing I loved about this arc is they had to focus on Ichigo's psyche, his psychological, aspect, what was he was thinking internally. And when you see him at his lowest moment, it just makes it 10 times better to when he gets his Soul Reaper powers back. You're just like, yeah, that's great. But this arc is over with, and that is it. And at this moment, and at that point in time, that was it of the Bleach anime. The Bleach anime ended, and after that, it was done. The manga still continued, and pretty much the Bleach anime had to wait 10 long years to finally now get a proper adaptation of the 1,000-Year Blood War arc to finally be animated. I pretty much watched all the videos. I even watched Tite Kubo, the author of Bleach's interview. And when I saw his interview, which you can check it out on the Viz YouTube channel, it made me very excited. I watched the 2 trailers, and I'm very hyped for 1,000-Year Blood War. But yes. Altogether, I was always intrigued with watching Bleach. It just was only a matter of time. Like, should I watch Bleach? And then I ended up watching it, and I ended up loving this show, man. I really do. It's definitely one of my favorite animes, man. It might have to be in my top 5, dude. It might have to be in my top 5. I love Bleach. I love the characters. I love all the story arcs, except some of the fillers, especially when you watch the anime. But this arc definitely hit me in hard places. And I just love it. I just love it. And I'm definitely looking 100% forward to the Thousand Year Blood War arc anime adaptation. I'm not going to read the manga. I want to go into this completely blind. So, yeah. And then the good thing is, I only got 1 more month. I have to deal with this. I only got 1 more month. I have to wait for the anime adaptation for Thousand Year Blood War arc to come out, and then I get to see it. If, I know Disney Plus apparently I guess got the licenses to it, so hopefully they simulcast it so we can see it weekly. Otherwise, I'll have to watch it through other means because I can't miss this. I can't miss this. I gotta see this. So yeah. But that's it. But yeah. So, anyways, if you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this Bleach arc review. What are your thoughts on the Fullbringer arc? Do you like it? Do you not like it? And do you think it's underrated? So let's hit the subscribe button. You want to get more Bleach content or any other anime content, I upload to the channel. But just because I said this was the last arc review of Bleach doesn't mean that's the last Bleach video. Obviously, like I said, you got to look forward to Thousand Year Blood War arc content. But don't worry, guys. I'm actually going to be reviewing the Bleach movies. Yes, I'm going to be reviewing all 4 of the Bleach movies, and I can't wait to talk about them. So the next time we come back with Bleach, I will be talking about Bleach, the movie #1, Memories of Nobody. And I'll talk about that. Apparently, from what I've seen in people's thumbnails and with the way people talk about it, they absolutely love this movie. So I think I'm going to love this movie too. I started watching a little bit of it, but I fell asleep on it. But whatever. Anyways, I'm going to catch you guys in the next video. Till then, guys, stay safe. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.